Yeah, so at Lupa, what we do is we help US companies and Canadian companies hire people in Latin America. Um, for me, the main vision was that I felt that LATAM talent was very underrepresented in the market, and most people just thought of LATAM talent as cheap talent. So what we focus on are the highest level people in Latin America, everything from top software engineers to COOs and CFOs. So we focus on really high level roles, and the vision behind it is I just met so many great people in Latin America, working in Latin America, because I spent 3 years as the head of product of the biggest company in Colombia, or the biggest tech company in Colombia. And yeah, I just felt like those people deserved a chance, and I thought that US companies could benefit a lot from hiring those kind of people. I know a lot about recruiting software because originally we were aiming to build software as well. So we had our own CRM and our own ATS. And at a certain point, I started looking at the other software that was out there, and the cost that it was that I was incurring. I think I was spending around $6,000 to $10,000 a month building my own software and maintaining my own software for recruiting. And when I saw Recruit CRM, it just felt like there was a lot more features and a lot more things that I kind of wish I had or I had on my backlog. So for me, I started whenever I decided that my company wasn't going to be a software company. It was going to be more based on our service. And yeah, that's when I started looking. What stood out for me with Recruit CRM is that it's specialized for what I do, right? I feel like Recruit CRM understands the problems and the opportunities that come along with a recruiting or staffing agency. And I just didn't feel like any of them was really built for what we do. They were more built for in-house teams. And yeah, there's just really no comparison to anything else that's on the market because it's particular to what our company needs and what our services involve. So it really felt like it was built just for us. So before we used to have our own ATS that we built in-house, and then also we used HubSpot. Um, I liked HubSpot, but I felt that for a recruiting agency, it didn't really make sense, and also it was extremely expensive. So for me, it was really a lot of a thing of cost first, and then also I just felt like this was a more tailored solution that allowed everything to be in one place. So I had, part of my team in HubSpot, part of my team in our ATS that we had built, and it was just much easier to keep everything in one spot. So I looked at Recruit CRM based on a recommendation from someone when I first started my company. And then from there, I would read the newsletter all the time. So I was getting the newsletter all the time, and I would always look at it. I thought it was pretty valuable. And whenever it was time to get a CRM, I had Recruit CRM top of mind. Yeah, I thought the onboarding was great. Not just making sure that my team understands how to use it, but to make sure that we take advantage of, all of the different features in the background. There were a couple phases because we wanted to do a lot of automation with our process, and we had a lot of things that we had previously automated. So getting all that set up was really nice and understanding what was there. And then the onboarding with the team was great. As far as continuous support, I think it's good too. I mean, the responses are fairly fast. And yeah, no complaints on the onboarding and the support. And also there's just tons of videos that you can always look at. So, most of the questions that we ask have already been covered and because they've already been asked by other people. Yeah, so with the workflow, the idea was just to be able to automate the contacting of candidates and of people. So um, the fact that I can do a lot of things automatically that I would have had to do manually makes it easier. And really, it was just a speed and ease thing. It's cheaper for me to pay Recruit CRM a few $100 a month than it is to hire another person to do this, or to be checking and making sure that my team is doing it. It's hard to say, but I do know that my team likes it. I do know that they would complain a lot about about our old systems, and they don't complain very much anymore. So as far as the growth, it's hard to say, honestly. I know that my business has grown since I've started using Recruit CRM, but I think more about growth. It's just more about like making my employees happier and making their lives easier. And hopefully it's making them more efficient. So I really just like the idea of being able to see a candidate and see every client that they've ever touched or every person that's ever tried to reach out to them. I think that's super useful. Um, so for me, I think it's just having that like huge database. We have a very, very big database of candidates, and the fact that it's all organized in one place. And, oftentimes now, whenever we start a search for a particular client, we are like, oh, we've already done this search, and we can kind of go and see all of the candidates that we spoke to before, what kind of candidates did well. So I think it's just the fact that it's all so organized and it's built exactly for recruiting. It's not built for well, maybe it can work for one company, but it's not being used to its maximum capacity if you're just recruiting for one business. It's built for a company like mine that's recruiting for lots of businesses, and I love that I just have that organized library at my fingertips. Future expectations, I think it would be interesting to see how Recruit CRM is going to get into the AI space. I think that there's a lot of opportunity to be able to match candidates a lot better, do outreach in different ways. So I assume that's something that you guys are working on, and I'll be excited to see what kind of developments you have there. For me, it's more about, okay, what is Recruit CRM going to do in the AI space? What are they going to do with the matching part? What kind of things are they going to add? I also think there's a lot of opportunities to increase the amount of business you guys get on your workflows project, because I know it's a good project for you guys in terms of adding value to your customers. But I think like there's probably a lot of AI tools that could help recommend what kind of workflows would work for companies, because there's really an unlimited amount of things that you can do, but it's kind of unknown sometimes initially what's possible. Yeah, of course. I definitely would recommend Recruit CRM to other agencies, because I just don't really see another player out there that's doing it the same way. I think it's really the only one. I mean, every agency owner that I know that's researched CRMs ends up with Recruit CRM, and whenever they ask me, I always tell them to go your way. Efficiency. I think the future of recruitment is going to be very international, and it's going to matter less where you are and more what you know. Yeah, so I do read the Recruit CRM newsletter, but I think as a headhunter, the most important thing is just to be aware of the business environment and always be reading. So me, I get 10, 12 different newsletters in my inbox. My YouTube channel or my YouTube recommendations are only tech things. I think staying up to date in the industry is more of just something that you do because you like it, and not, something that you can fake.